Coron is one of the most talked about destinations in the Philippines. It charms with its many rocks and thus has attracted numerous tourists. But then, where could you find some more tranquil spots? And have you ever thought of visiting Coron for scuba diving? Well then, strap yourself in for this Coron off the hotspot video. Coron is easiest to be reached by plane. There's an airport on Busuanga Island. The actual place that people call Coron is an island just next to it. Upon landing, you'll have to pay an environmental fee of 200 Filipino pesos. The usual place where people stay is at Coron Town, just at the south of Busuanga Island. However, in this video, we're heading away from the touristy centers to the beautiful and lonely paradise island called Sangat.
Welcome to Tao Sangat!
Just arrived here at Tao Sangat Dive Resort in Coron. It seems to be very quiet in here. The hotel looks very authentic Filipino. So this is going to be something very contrasting to the otherwise very touristy Cebu and Bohol. Now here on Sangat Island it seems it's really quiet. There are not many people here. And thus, these are going to be real holidays. Nevertheless, there are a lot of activities you can do here around Sangat Island, so I'm going to show you the best of the best this island has to offer.
I honestly wasn't really aware of what I would be expecting in here, but the moment my friends and I arrived here, we were totally astonished by the tranquility of this island, and the only thing we regretted was that we only stayed there for 2 nights. The island was perfect, was beautiful, it has a nice house beach, and even more exciting, it is a perfect diver space to explore the entire surrounding. Apparently, there are even plenty of shipwrecks to be explored in here. But more about that in the later part of this video. This is no sponsored content, I wish it was, but we three really love this resort so much that we would like to introduce it to you. It's an eco-resort, that means they try to be environmentally friendly by being small in size, being a private resort, reducing the wash powder, and they use and consume minimal energy.
Really great vibes at this hotel, very peaceful, listening to the sound of the crashing waves. The wind, it actually feels quite nice. And then look at the color of the water. Turquoise, really beautiful. Apparently just out there is a good house reef for snorkeling. After about 50 to 100 meters you'll be arriving at a coral garden.
The island is very peaceful, most of the guests will be out for diving, thus you'll have it very quiet in here during the day. You can go for kayaking and even walk along this wooden bridge over to the secret beach, except for this here as it requires some renewal works. There's also this beautiful tip at where the water has a really unique and strong turquoise shine. Take it easy on your first day, enjoy the beach and even consider going for a swim. The highlight then will start up from 5 PM, which is due to the happy hour at the Rock Bar. For those who are not familiar with scuba diving, we usually do up to 3 dives a day. And for advanced, there's even a 4th one in the night. The first dive is done early in the morning and usually will be the deepest of the day. Before the dive starts, there will be a briefing done by the guide who explains how the place, wreck or reef, will be explored and especially how deep we will be staying. Then we get our equipment ready and the dive will start. For regular divers, the usual depth for the first dive should be around 28 to 32 meters. This was just the case for the shipwreck. In fact, Coron is not only a wonder of the sea when it comes to beautiful waters and unique rock formations, but also for shipwrecks. Many ships sank in here during World War II, and since then Coron has become a magnet for wreck diving. The dive was very nice, there were a few large fish swarms, the wreck was still intact, and various areas could be explored. We could not stay for too long on 30 meters. This is due to the high accumulation of nitrogen in the blood that can cause decompression sickness. Because of that, you'll do a safety stop on 5 meters for a couple of minutes. After a safety stop, we then got out of the water and headed back to the hotel for lunch. After lunch, we went for a second dive. This time, Marco joined. Apparently, he has been learning very fast. We went to a reef 15 minutes away from the hotel for a light dive, not deeper than 18 meters. We again went to explore a small shipwreck. It was also a very nice and colorful coral garden. We saw a couple of interesting fishes, for example an emperor. There are these yellow fishes with many blue stripes. We also spotted a Napoleon. You can see it's this large green fish that has a very unique front head. The world of corals was really fascinating, and I would say among these 3 dives, this one definitely had the best corals. But the most exciting shipwreck, that one we only got to see on our 3rd dive. Once more, we have spent a very relaxing evening. Having cocktails at the rock bar, talking to various other guests who mostly also were divers. Then we were again surprised with a very delicious dinner.
Tonight everyone, our dinner we're gonna have some starter first. That's egg aubergine.
Before we went for our 3rd dive, we prepared something very special for Nato. Well, unfortunately Nato still cannot dive, so he couldn't join us. We really thought it would be very mean if Nato always has to wait for us, so we prepared a really nice surprise.
What did we prepare for Nato?
We asked for a massage.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, we're sending you to massage.
Are you not coming?
No.
Why not?
We're going for diving and you're going to enjoy the real spa.
Wow. Okay, cool. I like it.
But
Thank
yeah.
you.
We then prepared for our last dive on our vacation, being unaware that this one would be our best. We headed around 15 minutes out to visit a low-depth shipwreck that was still very much intact. The wreck was very much covered with corals, something that I've only seen at the Don Raven in the Red Sea in Egypt. Marco already felt like a dive buddy I've been with for years, but that was actually only his 4th dive in his life. Yeah, I was actually really fascinated how fast he was learning. I remember when I started to learn diving, I was at the age of 12. Well, it definitely took me quite longer. It was really exciting exploring this shipwreck with him. The highlight was this corridor. I passed it 3 times in total, and then of course the various other parts of the sunken ship. After roughly 60 minutes, we went for a safety stop at 5 meters, and then we quit the water to head back to Tao Sangat.
Welcome